morning, Laguna Woods. Glad that you tuned in today. This is the start of a new week, obviously, and this week we're going to have a special theme. My guest, Joan McConville, is with me this week, and we have a lot of really neat things planned for you. But the overall theme is finding God in what we're looking at. I wish I had a little bit better theme, I feel like, but it comes from two events, really. One is that and I'm going to quote from it a little bit, but a book that I just finished reading called The Improbable Planet. And it talks about how it's amazing that we have life on Earth. That's its theme, because so many things had to be just perfect, or Earth would not support life of any form. The other thing is that I came across a quote, and I know our brilliant scholars out in Laguna Woods already know it, but when Yuri Gagarin, the first Russian cosmonaut, in the late 50s, actually, I think it was, yeah, I know it was, went up into space, the first guy to circle the Earth. And when he came back, he said, "I've been to space, and I did not see God. Therefore, he does not exist." Years later, an American astronaut went up into space, and he said, "I've been to space, and I see God everywhere."
Perspective.
It's perspective, isn't it? Yeah. So that just made me think, and the difference, we see the same things, and we're going to talk about some things, and we want to find God in them. We're going to come at it from that perspective. And when you see the amazing things in the universe, down from the sub-molecule, the smallest atom, and even smaller, it has God's handprint on it. We're going to start. This is inspiration for today. So the basis for this is, so that everyone gets the perspective from which Joan and I are coming, is from the Bible. I know one verse that you all know, so I don't even really need to read it, but Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. I think everybody knows that verse. So that's our perspective. You have a verse, you were saying that it's throughout the Bible.
Throughout the Bible, they talk about God created everything.
Yeah.
And so I found this verse in Nehemiah. It's actually Nehemiah 9:6. It said, "You alone are the Lord. You made the heavens, even the highest heavens, and all their starry host, the earth and all that is on it, the seas and all that are in them. You give life to everything, and the multitudes of heaven worship you."
It's amazing, isn't it? But that was Nehemiah's perspective, and he's praying that back to God.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to read one more.
Okay.
Because, so God, from the Christian perspective and from the Bible perspective, is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. In Genesis 1:1, it really talks about God the Father. Basically, God created the heavens and the earth. And then if you read later on, the Holy Spirit is mentioned because it says the Spirit hovered above the waters, and he was there, and he was part of it. However, book of John, chapter 1 says this: "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." And that word, it says in verse 13, was Jesus. It was another name for Jesus. But in verse 3, it says, "Through him," Jesus, "all things were made. Without him, nothing was made that has been made." So, the Bible's pretty clear.
Yes.
Who's the creator?
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yes.
And so God has made everything. Now, here's the thing. Would you agree, Joan, that when an artist paints a picture, he reveals something about himself.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if you even have my favorite artist is Rembrandt.
Well, if you looked at an art class and they're all painting the same subject,
Yeah.
you'll see all different renditions because they're putting their own personality
Okay.
into that picture.
Yeah.
They all see it differently. Their depth perception will be a little different, everything. Little shadows or whatever it is, it'll be a little different.
Well, I kind of feel that way about God,
Mm-hmm.
and his artwork is all of creation. And we're going to look at various aspects of that creation all week long. And I love some of the things that you're going to hear from Joan. And I like mine too, actually. But anyway, so folks, that's the perspective from which we're coming. And because we had the generalization verse in a way, because remember, creation is broken down there were 6 days of creation. And then the seventh day, God rested. So it's 6 days. And whether they were literal 24-hour days or eras of time, I don't know for sure. I have my opinion, but so do other good biblical scholars that know more than me. But that's not the important part. It's 6 periods of time that God created. But he created the heavens and the earth. And I just wanted to point out there's so many areas. This book is filled with things that if any one thing, distance from the sun, how fast we spin, amount of gravity,
And the heat and the temperature and the different layers.
Every single thing that if it didn't happen exactly as it did happen, there would be no life. And I just came across this one area, particularly talking about the immenseness of space. And we're going to talk about that in another show this week on how big the universe is. But with as massive as it is, because we've had so much fun, the time isn't going to allow me to read that passage. But if it had been the vastness of universe, had it been, by the way, I know you don't know this, no one would, but the amount of matter in the universe compared to empty space, it's only 4%. So all the stars and all the things, it only amounts to 4%. The rest is dark space.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
I didn't know that either. But here's the amazing part. Had there been, if there had been 5% matter and 95%, then that little bit of change, at least according to, and Hugh Ross is an astrophysicist, brilliant. In fact, I can't even understand a lot of his words. But the fact of the matter is, one little change like that, and gravity would have been so much that it all would have collapsed in on us. And therefore, even the earth and everything else wouldn't exist.
Right.
Now, Joan and others, is that by chance, do you think?
Absolutely not.
Well, that's your only other option.
To have a creation, you have to have a creator.
Yeah. And he had to be perfect.
Yes, in every way.
In every way. Oh, I'm just blown away, and I even knew what we were going to say. Folks, I don't know if I did a good job explaining all this today. We're going to go a little bit easier tomorrow. Tune back in, because Joan's got something that I guarantee you're going to be able to relate to. Mine might have been a little ephemeral, but the thing is, God is our creator. You're going to see amazing stuff like that this week. Tune back in tomorrow, Laguna Woods. See you then.